Yeah. Okay. Cool. Can't really see. I guess it tells you when people come on, right? Man, I'm getting makeup everywhere. Anywho, anyway, what's up, people? It seems that there's no one watching for now, but I know that people are gonna watch later anyway. It's gonna be on the YouTube. It's good to see you guys, or see you when you tune in. Welcome back to Fleet Footed. I know I've been a bit MIA for a while because I've sort of ran out of ideas of what to do during the transfer season, but it's good to have legends in the game like Daps that I can lean on for advice and help. But anyways, guys, we're going to do a special type of episode where we're going to cover a few things. But before we get started, I wanted to just say thank you, Daps, for joining. How are you doing, mate?
Apart from hay fever, I'm doing very well. Very well.
Treble winning. You still got that glow?
Oh, yeah. It's been a mad. Do you know what? It's been a mad season because we haven't done a Big Six Extra for a while.
Yeah.
And like when we were doing Big Six Extra, we were in a bad place. We were like, it seemed like every week I was going on there and it was something bad about City.
Yeah.
And then the minute we found form, we kind of stopped doing it. And I'm like, but that's the thing, it makes it more sweet. Like,
yeah,
I used to get asked, like, so out of Pep's 5 Premier Leagues, one of them was a runaway, the Centurion season. The other 4 have been a battle. And I can tell you now, all 4 felt better than Centurions. Like, don't get me wrong, Centurions had its moments and this season, when I look back to like February and where we were as a team, and also me personally, like when we played Tottenham away and we lost 1-0, me personally, that was like possibly one of the lowest points of my life, but also that was one of the lowest points of our season. The next day, we got hit with the charges as well. And I was being bombarded of people asking me to go on and talk about it. And I was like, nah, I'm not in a place to do, like, mentally, I'm not in a good place. But then now, and then again, it's kind of funny that now where I look where I am mentally and how the season ended for my club, it's just like, it just kind of shows how a couple of months can change everything. Mate. And you as an Arsenal fan, look, if you think Arsenal the last couple of years, then Arsenal this year. It's just listen, the season's over. I'm not here to be shameless. You do have to look at it, and I get it. You wanted to win the league, but in hindsight, it's a damn sight better season than you've had recently.
100%. 100%. It's definitely the best season we've had for a long time. Are there disappointments? Yes, but definitely the best season we've had.
Yeah.
Well, but I appreciate you sharing that, man. So it's good to have you on. Obviously, you're not doing a Jack Grealish. You're still intact. You're ready to jump on the stream. So I thought what would be good is to actually discuss first and foremost. Let's talk transfers, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, I thought what would be good is I'll give my viewpoints on those that Arsenal have been linked to, and then you can give your viewpoints on whether you think those are signings which sort of, I don't know, add any sort of threat to you, make you feel a bit worried, make you feel a bit nervous.
Do you know why this is? Do you know where this is funny already, right? Because last summer, I spent a fair amount of my summer going on Arsenal channels, yeah? Because you were in for Jesus and Zinchenko, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was having to talk up Jesus and Zinchenko to Arsenal fans, to a lot of Arsenal fans. They were asking me, will Jesus get this many goals? And I was saying, why are you bothered about goals? Your overall output will go up. Will he personally get 20 goals? I don't know. Will you get more goals by having Jesus in your team? Yes, you will. And ultimately, that is all that should matter. And again, with Zinchenko, was trying to sell both of them to some of your... But at no point then did I think we were going to end up in a title race with Arsenal. Yeah. At no point. I do remember when you beat Chelsea in a friendly, because that at one point in the summer last year, and at one point in the summer last year, everyone was coming for Arsenal because I think Chelsea were getting their targets, Tottenham were getting their targets, and everyone was laughing at Arsenal, right? And then you played Chelsea, and before the game, I said to someone in a friendly, I said, do you know what? I said, Zinchenko and Jesus are not going to have gone there to go and get slapped by Chelsea, you know, like, and afterwards I was like, that's what I'm saying, that they will have got there and they will have spoken in the dressing room and said, we need to go out and set a message that we're not here to be laughed at. Yeah. And yeah, it's just funny that now I'm here and we're talking about Arsenal transfers, but this time I've got an eye on it properly. Like,
That's progress. That's progress from Arsenal.
Exactly. And I did call it, by the way. I did call it quite a bit, because towards the end of the season, people were saying, you know, Arsenal won't strengthen that much in the summer. And I was saying, you're not you're looking at that as basically a hate on Arsenal. Yeah. If you look at it, Arsenal stopped buying or stopped spending big time when they're paying off the stadium. Once the stadium have been paid off, they've been buying players, but they might not be of the caliber that you think's good enough because they didn't have Champions League football. But now they can still spend that money. They've earned more money because of where they finished in the Premier League. They will spend big this summer, and I said they will spend very big. And I think someone pointed out earlier on, I think you've got about 200 million to spend, right?
Something like that. But
and that's without Champions League. That's without Champions League football. So next summer, you'll be able to go more.
It'd be a madness. Yeah, but before we get into transfers, I actually wanted to talk. So, obviously, you being Man City, you being treble winners, where do Man City go from here? From a greatness point of view, from a building your squad point of view, where do you guys go from here?
So, our chairman does an interview at the end of every season, and he did his yesterday and the day before, and in it, kind of, he got asked the same question and said, you know, now what? And he said, I've already set the objectives. We can always go further. I think, and that's the thing. Well, for me, if I have to list what I want the most, I want the 4P, because it's one of them things where no one's done it in the Premier League. So we want that, you know, the one thing with the treble is, I don't care, by the way, about this, which treble's better. Doing a treble it's like, if City went and did the Invincibles, it's not going to make Arsenal's Invincibles any worse. It just means, another team's gone and done it now. Yeah. So the treble thing, but the 4P to say, we've got that now. But then also you've got to think, to retain the Champions League, that, you know, that would be another thing. And I think with Pep,
that would be wild.
But do you know what? It's all about just being there in every competition again. That's the key. Like, you don't want your season over by March.
Yeah.
You want to be. I do think to a certain extent, right, our club standards 100% are to be competing in everything. And I think we will be. But I could also see that with Pep having 2 years left on his contract, the age of some of the players, I don't think Pep will want to leave City how Fergie left United, right, with aging players. So I think that's why at the moment maybe you're seeing that you might see quite a few of the more senior players leave, so that Pep's last year at City, if it is, he goes. And I think this season will be a bit of bedding in potentially, but we'll see. But yeah, we've just got to be there again, man. It's
okay. So do it again, basically. Be there.
Be there again. Okay. Can never take anything for granted.
So how do you obviously Kovacic, it was announced that you guys agreed a deal, 30 M's for Kovacic. How are you feeling about that deal? You happy with that? It must mean Okay is gone then.
Yeah. Do you know what? So in a lot of the groups, I've been City groups I'm in, speaking with them all, and they're all kind of getting like sad that he's going and saying we should have done more. I said we couldn't do any more. Like, we've offered him a 2-year contract and he's taken a 2-year contract at Barcelona. So it's not that he's going. If he went Saudi for a 3-year contract on mega money, I'd said, all right, we could have done more, right? But if he's taken a 2-year contract in a different country, so he's got Villa in Barcelona, his missus likes Barcelona, and he's done everything he can in England. It's the right time for him to go, and it's the right time for him to go. Like, and Bernardo's been looking to go for the last 2 seasons. He's now won a Champions League. We have to accept it that he might go as well. But if you look at our legends that we do let go on free transfers, Bernardo, there would be a fee there. So Bernardo might stay, but you can't really tell me one legend that we've let go on a free transfer that has continued to have a good career, because they've been of a certain age, like Vinny, Aguero, Zabaleta, David Silva, Yaya Toure. Fernandinho. Once someone's given their all to the club, it's like, now you have the free, you go and get that one big pay wherever you want to be. So we've got to salute him. I do think there's a lot of awkward conversations with Gundogan because he was our captain this season. He scored the goals that won us the league last season, and he was our top goal scorer the season before. So in our three-peat and treble winning team, Gundogan was pivotal to it. So
absolutely,
there's conversations where, like, he's up there with the top. Like
100.
Yaya Toure, like he really is.
Yeah, no, in terms of impact, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because Toure was massive for you guys, but I'm thinking what Gundogan has done is just unreal.
Yeah.
Like completely scoring in finals as well. Like, come on, like
won the FA Cup final, yeah. And do you know what? I'll be honest with you. My one worry with him was if he went to you. That would be my one worry because
I never thought he'd get him.
I didn't think he would. He
Never.
doesn't seem like the type of player that this late in his career would do that. But he is the type of player that I think is. Arsenal can go about it different ways, yeah, right? But with the squad you have, with the players you're linked with, the one thing I still think you're missing is that experience of winning a league. Yeah,
100%.
A calm head as well. Calm. Like Gundogan, if you got him, it would be like, oh, now that could be the calm, senior, experienced person that could really. And there's not many out there, to be frank.
Yeah, I mean that's what Jorginho was meant to be to an extent.
Yeah, I think so.
With
Yeah,
Gundogan, it's obviously different. Okay, that's fair. I mean, like, but I feel like the Kovacic signing, for me, I think like that's a good signing for Man City.
Yeah.
The guy's got like legs in midfield, really good on the ball, reached
good in transition.
Croatia, great in transition.
And the fee is nice. It's, do you know what it is?
Yeah, Premier League proven, 29 at his peak. Like him
City,
and Haaland are going to have fun with each other.
Yeah. This is going to sound mad to some people because of what everything says about City and whatever else, but City actually don't like being in the media no more for some reasons. It sounds mad, but let me explain it to you. Yeah, the reason, like Grealish, for example, that was a release clause, and Manchester City's board love a release clause because a release clause means you're not in a bidding war. If you get in a bidding war with other clubs, you might lose, and that doesn't look good. So City's board really try and look for release clauses or something they can go in, get the business done, and get out. Because remember, when we first started, that wasn't us. We were going in bidding stupid money for everyone, whereas now they want to stay below the radar. Now, the media will still put us in the radar, but that Kovacic thing to me is a bit like the Gundogan signing. Like we paid round about 30 for Gundogan, and it seems similar. The other thing is we're very, very keen. I think we've already agreed personal terms potentially with Gvardiol, who's also Croatian, and I think that's a part of it as well because there seems to be this thing at City where they like to have groups of players that speak the same language or from the same part of the world, so that there's that family, and I think that could be part of it as well. But I'm happy with that.
Point. That's a good point you make with the Gvardiol. I mean, like it would actually.
I only noticed it the other day and thought, hold on a second, is there something in this? But
it would actually make sense. I mean, like based on you, like obviously I'll get to Arsenal for those Arsenal fans joining. I'll get to Arsenal later, but obviously, where do you think City need to strengthen the most?
So based on who I think's leaving, so I'll be absolutely shocked if Laporte doesn't go. It's pretty nailed on at Laporte. Yeah, he's
going where? Barca?
I think so. Definitely. Yeah, I think Barca.
They got like 1 million centre backs though.
The thing is, he and I do rate him as one of our best centre backs, but for some reason, the last 2 years, or last season in particular, there's been games where youngers are getting played and Laporte isn't. So it's very clear. And when Laporte's asked about his future, he said, I can't speak on it. Now, if you say I can't speak on it, that means there's no future here. And so I'm pretty certain he will go. And I don't necessarily think we need, a Gvardiol necessarily. But I think the fact that Pep does, I think that Gvardiol-Diaz link up at the back could be so strong. Like, strong. If Bernardo goes, I do think we need another central midfielder. It's interesting because if you look at our midfielders, people will say, who will you get to replace them? But I don't really think there's some midfielders you can't replace. You just have to change the way you play. And I can't really think of too many like Bernardo. But when people arrive at City, you don't know exactly what they can do till Pep gets hold of them. So, and I'd like to see a winger. I would like to see a winger in there.
Yeah, maybe like a proper out-and-out winger would be good for you guys because I feel like Grealish and Bernardo are sort of similar.
I think Grealish could play centrally, but it's the problem with wingers is generally most wingers out there don't track back. Right.
Yeah.
And when I'm saying wingers, there's people that you could say track back, but you probably then would say, well, do you know what? They're not out and out wingers. They're good footballers that play out wide. But if you look at out and out wingers like Leroy Sané, Mahrez, they don't track back very well. And that's something Pep demands of all players. So I don't know. It's something that our fan base is obsessed with getting another winger in. The beauty is to end the City talk here is I'm in such a blessed place now that all I say is trust the board and trust the manager. Because if I start saying who I want there, what do I know? I don't even, some people play FIFA. I don't even play FIFA. I watch Manchester City. So I've got to trust the board, trust Pep, and generally it works out all right. So
Who do you think will be City's biggest challenger next season?
So it's based on this window, and it is either Arsenal or Liverpool.
Yeah. I think, obviously, people may say biased, but I got asked at the Champions League, the DL Sports Champions League watch-along thing 2 weeks ago. I got asked, who do I think the top four is going to be? I basically said, I don't think it's going to change. I can see Newcastle staying there.
Yeah.
I can see, I guess maybe the only change I'll make is maybe Liverpool swap out Man United. Yeah. That's if Man United can't pull their finger out and make the signings they want.
But I don't think they're going to, bro. I don't think they're. You have to. They had to have the owner for me in place before the season ended because you saw at Chelsea last summer.
Mess.
They got him in. By now, they had Bowley in, right? And it still took, you can't just walk into a business and start buying stuff instantly, You, let alone appoint sports directors and all that. So I do think, look, I've always said United will bounce back, but I don't think it'll be next season.
My whole thing is to revise it. I'm gonna put Liverpool in there. I can see Liverpool. The only reason I didn't put Liverpool in there is because I think Liverpool are their cycle has come to an end. So it's clearly and obviously a team in transition. I'll be shocked if this team that's still transitioning from Klopp's machine that won the league, that won the Champions League, to now this new team with your Gakpos, your Diaz's, your Nunez's.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked.
And Johnson, then now pretty much it looks like they're going to have a whole new midfield. The thing is, what I would say is all last season, I was saying that I think before the season started, I said Liverpool will be our main challenge. All through the season, I kept saying Liverpool are going to come good. Like after the World Cup, Liverpool. And I guess that's because they're the one team that look, if you take away some of the younger players and whatever else, you look at that Liverpool spine, they still have firstly Klopp, they still have Alisson, they still have Trent, they still have Robertson, they still have Van Dijk, they still have Henderson there, they still have Salah, they still have a lot of players that have been there and won the Premier League. So they do have the know-how. It's just, I think, last season you could say Klopp maybe he got away with it because of what he's done. This season is where we really judge Klopp. Like if Liverpool don't bounce back, then I think what everyone says is that once he drops off, he needs to move is true. Because, but I just fear them. But whereas with you lot, it's very clear you're going to strengthen, right? And if you strengthen correctly and don't just replace, strengthen, then I think Arsenal can really, really go for it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, to be fair, the point you made about Liverpool it's a good point you made because it's something I kept forgetting last season. Like, we have to, as good as City have been, you actually have to give Liverpool respect for somehow pushing you guys season after season, even being able to take one Premier League off of you guys. So it's actually what you say, the experienced spine is true because as bad as he was last season, Van Dijk is still Van Dijk, you know.
And
Alisson,
Salah's still Salah.
Salah's
And
still
Alisson's
Salah,
still,
like,
yeah.
in a poor season, the guy's still doing numbers like 30 goals or something, which I think is ridiculous that he still gets stick anyway. But
he's cold. We did a team of the decade the other day, and I picked Salah. And someone's like, why? I was like, even when Liverpool are bad, he's still bagging. Like, there's no. And they said, who's better, him or Mahrez? And I was like, I'm sorry, but for me, I don't really see that as a question. It's not a debate. Like, Salah is up there for me, really up there.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, but maybe biased, but I think it'll be Arsenal. Again, I'm just looking at the things. I'm looking at who's going to be the most settled, who's gonna be a year wiser for a failed title challenge, and who is going to look to do business early and strengthen. And it looks like obviously Liverpool have done business early, McAllister, but I mean the transfer window opened, a week ago, and already we've made 5 bids. But that being said, bids mean nothing. It's all about sealing the deal and bringing the players through. Liverpool have gotten McAllister through the door, so it remains to be seen we see Arsenal's intent. It remains to be seen if they're really going to deliver, right? But I think it'll be it could easily be Arsenal.
I think, do you know what, right? In the January transfer window, so after the January transfer window, Arsenal's board, maybe not instantly afterwards, but towards the end of the season, some fans started to give them a bit of stick about the January transfer window, and saying they didn't strengthen enough. But for me, Arsenal went into that January transfer window to strengthen the way they should, Trossard was superb signing, especially for the amount. Jorginho, they got last minute, and I get the thinking behind that as well. Like we spoke on, the experience of coming in as a winner, Now, the only criticism I would have of Arsenal in that transfer window was naivety. That, firstly, they thought they could go in and get Trossard and then go and get Caicedo for still an okay price. And the thing is, look, you've just taken one of Brighton's players. If I own a shop and I've got 2 bottles of Coke and that's all I have left, and I sell one and I've only got one left, I'm going to put the price up because it's like I only have one left now. If you want to take my only bottle of Coke and there's a drought coming, I'm going to sell it for more. So I felt that. And then the other thing, unfortunately, was with that, the guy that went Chelsea is Arsenal. Yeah, and Arsenal do business correctly, in my opinion. Right? They're one team that
we can talk about that. Yeah,
but you can't. It's naive to go in and think you're going to go up against Chelsea, especially in that window, where Todd Bowley is doing anything to get players that other teams want. Like, literally, we know some other things that I'm sure many other clubs have done will have happened there. Like, people backing, his agents will have got extra money and whatever else to push it through. So I think that was naive. Now, coming into this transfer window, I think Arsenal's board just need to think, right, what do we need? We were close. Yes, we're going to have to pay a lot for this. But like when Liverpool went and bought, I think, Van Dijk and Alisson, and they were the missing pieces,
Pay.
If you have to pay, but that is a difference between you winning a Premier League, then go and pay. And Declan Rice is the one, right? Because City have come out today and said, if Gundogan goes, we are interested in Declan Rice as a replacement.
Exactly.
Right? So now, I do think Declan Rice wants Arsenal, by the way.
And West Ham would take Calvin Phillips, even though he said he wants to stay. But we know how these things can change in football.
But I do think Declan Rice wants Arsenal. Let me be clear.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So you spoke on Arsenal's transfer strategy, but that's the problem with Arsenal. They go off, the player wants to come to us. The player wants to come.
And thinks that's it.
They fooled me. Like, shame on me. They fooled me with Mudryk. Oh, yeah, he wants to come to us. Yeah, Chelsea coming in, but he wants to come. He's been liking all of Arsenal. He's been twerking for Arsenal. He's been liking all of our posts. That means nothing now. If a team comes, slaps the money, you hear from a persuasive manager, you hear persuasive project, you will sign for it. So I think this is why, like, I get why you'd say, like, you like the way Arsenal do business. And to be fair, it's not a bad way, like, it makes it, you got to be shrewd. Like, you can't just come in in a bidding. You can't just come in and just pay like a high price.
You can't, or it ends up very bad. It ends up that everyone knows they can just.
But then there comes like balance. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
what we do is we take the mickey. A team tells us the asking price, and instead of us trying to just go under it, just like we
yeah,
like take the absolute mickey,
yeah.
and then we drag it out, and then we take the mickey, and then the second bid comes. The second bid should really have been the first bid.
Yeah,
Maybe the
yeah,
third bid, and then by the third bid, the team is getting annoyed with you to the point that
yeah.
they don't
And
even
then they
sell to
stop.
you,
And then and
then
that
they
does
start being
happen.
and then they
That
start
does
being
happen.
difficult, and then someone comes with more money, buys a player, and then he's gone.
Do you know what, right? So earlier on, when I spoke on Gundogan being the type of player that I think is exactly what Arsenal needs, experienced, senior, calm, listens to the matter. I think like the perfect professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to think on a show the other day, I was trying to think, someone said who else? And I was trying to think of other ones. I said, I mean, Kyle Walker to a certain extent could fit the mold, but he'd never go Arsenal, right? And
No
I think, but I was trying to think of other senior players. Then I thought, hold on. There is another way of doing it. And the other way I don't think is, as it will definitely work. But you can sometimes find gems of younger players that actually can have all those qualities, right? And
Yeah, I agree.
I sat there and thought, I am slyly thinking Declan Rice, could be. And the other thing, again, like you said, once Pep speaks to him, if Arsenal are dragging their heels, and look, it is his day job, and if he gets offered more money by City or whatever, but I don't think the amount City offer and the amount Arsenal offer will be that different, to be frank with you. But there is a side of me as well that actually thinks Declan Rice seems like the type of guy that would be, I want to stay in London where my family is. I don't know if you've heard of SC Dons, but he still goes and watches like local teams play football and stuff. There does seem sometimes these gems come along where actually they're like, nah, I am sticking to. And look, if it was a foreign player, I'd probably say don't support City, don't support Arsenal. I know Rice don't support Arsenal, but he is an East London boy. And I kind of think he might actually be like, now I'm set on Arsenal and I want to, but West Ham have a say in it. And if West Ham end up going, we're not selling you to Arsenal, you either stay here or you go City, then it might. But I don't know. I mean, I'd take Rice all day long, but I'm kind of set where he's going Arsenal.
I believe he'll go. I believe he'll go Arsenal, but I just think with a play like this, you already know like Bayern Munich were interested in him.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest. I guess this is perfect to actually go into like Arsenal transfer talk, because I'll be honest with Rice. I think he's a really good player, but maybe it's me that's just like downplaying how important he's going to be for. I think he's going to be a really good signing. I think he's Premier League proven, good age. Every time I've seen him in international tournaments for England, he's done well.
Yeah.
I'm just more thinking like, how does he fit? Is he going to is he going to be our 6? Is he going to be an 8? Because I see.
And then Havertz confuses the whole mix.
But with Havertz, I'll actually get to that, because like Havertz confuses things. But like I had to do some digging to figure out, okay, how on earth is this going to really work?
Yeah.
But starting with Rice, I think Rice, I can only go by pros. You've got ex-players like Wilson saying, if Arsenal sign this guy could be someone that stays at Arsenal for a very, very long time. This guy could be Arsenal captain, so he must clearly be a good player.
Who said that?
Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere was saying stuff like Arsenal, like he hopes that Rice, like he can see Rice being someone.
Oh, Rice. Sorry, Rice. Yeah. Sorry, I thought Havertz. Yeah, right. Same. Look,
so we'll
100%.
see.
I agree with that.
And apparently this is something that's been in the works since January. My thing is, if you've been plotting on this guy since January, bro, the window's open. Get it done. Stop all of this faffing about.
It's a pointless risk, isn't it? Playing Russian roulette with no reason to play it, because I think you're right. If you have been flirting and doing all of that, like we've seen with Bellingham, the minute the window is open, done.
Just do it.
You can't when there's other people out there, because Rice could just get this is dragging on. Because the other thing is, I've looked, not this, I think maybe last summer for a show, I sat and I looked at the pre-seasons where City did their business early and where they finished at the end of that season, and the pre-seasons where they did their business late. And every time you do your business early, it works more because
100.
when you hit that first day back in training, they're there, they're getting a feel for the club, and it confuses me. You know, when you're at school and you leave your homework or you're studying till the day before the exam, right?
Yeah, last minute prep.
I always think that with the transfer window, like, why is everyone waiting until 11:59 trying to squeeze paperwork through when just go and get it done? Like, but is what it is. Is what it. I think Rice could be good for you. What about Caicedo? If you
He'll
had
be
a choice,
good.
though,
He'll be good, but I don't get. He'll be good, but I don't get why we're not going for Caicedo still.
yeah,
But then again, I think it sort of makes sense because there's other targets. Because if we blow the bank on Rice, which it looks like we will, we're gonna break our record definitely.
Yeah,
we're gonna need to. We're definitely spending at least 100 M's. Which, for the record, for me, I personally felt like this is disgusting money to pay for him. But then I had to think to myself, okay, cool. We were gonna pay this for Mudryk, for goodness sake, from Ukrainian league. I'd rather pay this. I mean, just pay it. I'll pay this for Rice.
yeah.
If this is the guy whose mentality, character, and qualities in midfield are going to help us win the league, absolutely buy him. It's worth the money. But I think if we go like 100 M bid all in all for Rice, you can 1,000%.
It's so mad. It is mad money. I'm not gonna lie.
You can see
it's mad money, but yeah,
it's mad money. But you can see, you just know Brighton are going to be like, okay, well, you paid 100 for Rice. We feel like Caicedo is worth just as much.
Yeah. I think the other thing I saw yesterday is Fulham have come out and said for Paulinho they want 90 M's, right? And that's where they're the type of things that now would be frustrating for Arsenal because West Ham need to replace Rice. They were looking at Paulinho. Now they're like, oh, well, if you want 90 M's, we're definitely holding out. But then if you do have City coming around going, well, we'll give you this much and we'll give you Calvin Phillips as your replacement.
That's what West Ham want. Apparently, they want a bid. They were hoping for a bidding war, but it's not really happened yet.
No.
That Arsenal do. That's why I'm saying we just got to be in there and get it done. But truth be told, I've seen paper talk saying that we've called our interest in Caicedo and we've basically given Chelsea a free run, which I was quite surprised by. I was like, I thought the plan was to go for both of them, but now I'm seeing one linked.
I think the minute Chelsea are there, I think they could be like, do you know what, do what you're doing because we're not interested in being involved in that mayhem.
Yeah, that's true. But now I'm seeing that apparently like Lavia, which for me that would be a good signing for Arsenal. I think so. I think Lavia would be a good signing because number one he dominated Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
As bad as we played, he dominated us.
Dominated Calvin Phillips as well, by the way.
But he's 19.
Yeah.
Hasn't played much Premier League football. And now Southampton apparently won 50 M from him, which is just stupid. But I think that would be a good signing. And I also think Wright would be a great signing. So it remains to be seen. Like I think we'll get it over the line, but it's just I want to see more movement. And this Havertz stuff has come out of nowhere. It looks like, I mean, from what I read today, this is going to be the first deal agreed because Fabrizio Romano was saying that it's done. Yeah. And obviously he's quite reliable. So it's like, man, 65 M's for Havertz. Now, I was a bit indifferent to this signing at first because I'm like, he's obviously a good player because
technically he's good.
He's clearly
you can't deny it.
There's obvious quality with the player. I mean, people can hate on him all they want, but the fact is, when he said he wanted to leave, who are the two teams that were in for him? Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Like, But it just seemed they weren't willing to pay Chelsea the money that Chelsea wanted. And I was just trying to think about Havertz. Like, how would he even fit into the team? I think number one, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. Like, his goal conversion rate when it comes to his XG is terrible. But the guy's not really a striker. And even Leverkusen days when he was bagging goals in Bundesliga, he made most of his fame playing as a second striker, or what do they call it, trequartista. You don't really have that role in football.
Do you know? So when you said about conversion rate, and it's interesting, City had a player who is, I think, Spain's 5th or 4th highest goal scorer of all time, right? For me, technically, potentially City's best player of all time. But at City, sometimes he was a bit wasteful in front of goal at times. Yeah, David Silva, playing off Aguero. And that's, for me, where Havertz would work. And I think
exactly
you can look at Havertz and say he's been at Chelsea during a point where this season he's not a striker. He's not a false nine.
No, he's not.
And then the other seasons, maybe the system just hasn't suited him quite right. But then that's where, like, right, so when he goes Arsenal, is he playing off Jesus? Because
I was thinking about that because if I think about his qualities, how he fits into the team. Obviously, we line up as a 4-3-3, right? We line up as a 4-3-3 off the ball, but when we're on the ball, it's basically obviously we have the inverted fullback. Xhaka comes in, it's 3 at the back, two in midfield,
holding,
three attacking, and so the way
similar to City ultimately.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm copying you guys. I think Havertz could work either playing and what actually tends to happen is I think Havertz could work if we put him in the Ødegaard role and we put Ødegaard in the role that Xhaka was playing this season. That could work with him playing there, or Arsenal could actually play Jesus at I think that could work actually. Yeah. We start up as a 4-4-2 with Jesus and Kai Havertz, with Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, Rice hopefully if we get him, and Ødegaard in midfield. But then when we actually have the ball and we're attacking,
it changes.
It changes where we've got we can do the inverted stuff that we usually do. But then effectively we've got 4 in midfield. We've got Ødegaard, we've got Xhaka, we've got
Ødegaard could do that one. Do you know what? Right, with Havertz. So when people are saying, "Do I think it's a good signing or not?" Right, I said, "Well, I can't tell you that till the transfer window closes, because when Liverpool bought Gakpo in January, I was like, all right, I get it, but not if this is their only signing." When the window shut, I was like, yeah, if that's their only signing, don't make sense. Same with Chelsea. When they bought Sterling last year, I was like, if you're buying a striker to play alongside him, makes perfect sense. If you're not, I don't get it, right? And with Havertz, if Havertz is going in, and I don't think Arsenal are going to go in for a striker firstly, but if Havertz is going in and then you buy multiple other players, it's makes sense. If you've just wasted that on him. But the one thing we have to be clear with is his age, his technical ability. That
exactly
is it a risk?
I don't think it is.
To be fair, do you know why it probably isn't? Because at his age, even if he isn't amazing at Arsenal, he'll still probably get a move back to the German league for 50 million in 2 years' time if it doesn't work out. But I do think it's one of them ones where no one can say he's crap. Technically, he's not good, because he is good. It's just his period at Chelsea hasn't worked out. The one thing I would say as well is Arteta does seem like the type of player that can put his arm around someone and build their confidence up and bring the best out of them. So
someone's made a comment, said Havertz and Ødegaard midfield look weak. Probably get run over with that. Yeah. I don't agree with that, because one of the qualities, looking at the positives of Havertz, one of the things he is good for, stats-wise, is his off-the-ball quality and his pressing. Like, that's one of the things Havertz is known for.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently, he's very, statistically, he's very good when it comes to counter-pressing, and he's very good at, he's running off the ball. So I suspect this is probably one of the things Arteta was looking at because that's how.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, 100%.
That's how Mikel's building his team. He wants technical players.
That's what Pep and 100. It's the press.
He wants technical players who are going to do mad work off the ball, right? Yeah. That's what Ødegaard did this season gone. That's what Xhaka was doing this season gone. So
Jesus is the best at it.
Yeah, and you got
Jesus is unreal at it.
So I'm thinking if you can swap Ødegaard for Xhaka. Whereas Ødegaard is a small guy, but if you actually look at the sheer amount of work and ground he covers in midfield, how many? I think he was top of Arsenal's list for most ball most turnovers in opposition half. So the guy is a pressing monster. So if you put him where the Xhaka role is, so I can see that's probably a replacement for Xhaka, maybe in terms of the goals and assists he offers from midfield. But if you were to put Havertz where Ødegaard is playing, that could work. But even outside of that, if we don't shoehorn him into a starting 11, one of the things that I do quite like about this signing is that if I look beyond our first 11, as in what it will be, I see actual quality. Yeah, I know Trossard is good, but I'm talking quality. Someone who, okay, cool. we can put you in, and it's not going to look like a mad drop off.
Do you know what? That's spot on, and that's why I said before that. I said at the very end of last season, if Arsenal go and get a player in this position, player in this position, player in this position, they'll put up an even bigger challenge. Now, that's key. If Partey goes and Xhaka goes, then you can't just buy 2 replacements. You need to strengthen your squad because next season you've got the Champions League, and you will see that you've seen this season that there are drop-offs. Injuries do happen. They happen to all of us, and it's a risk if you don't. I think you're right. Trossard, for me, is a great impact player. He's one of those players that I think off the bench, he's someone, or even if you start with him and bring Martinelli off the bench, that's that side covered. But Havertz gives you another technical player to bring on. He gives you another Odegaard off the bench that can come on. Like I keep saying, the hardest thing is everyone has this debate of where Havertz plays. And the truth is none of us fully know. And that's what's interesting this season because Arteta probably is the type of manager that can say, I think you could play this role. And I think they've been playing you out of position. And if you play in this role, you're going to cook. So, and the grand scheme of it, 65 is, it sounds crazy saying this, but 65 is, it's not, it's less than Anthony to United. It's less than you paid for Pepe, right?
Yeah,
and
less than Pepe.
And that was years ago. So it's not, and the truth is you can sell him back to any German team for probably 50 million in 2 years' time. So it's not as bad as people make out.
It's not a bad signing. At first, I was just like, "What is this left field?" But I'm like, "No, actually, if I look at it for its merits, right? Like the guy, he clearly has quality. Yeah. I'm sure Arteta has a plan, but that's the thing that excited me the most. I'm just thinking, okay, cool. I just want to see off our bench actual quality. Now what? Now this is what I like about a winner. This is what brings me on to what's his name, Urian Timber. So this is a guy that Man United wanted last season. Apparently Arsenal have been following him since last season, supposedly. And this is a guy that can play the whole inverted right back thing as well. But he's also apparently he's meant to be like Ben White, another Ben White.
How about that? Yeah.
Someone who can play centre back, but can also play right back as well. But why am I loving this? Because it's like finally, so we're building a squad. We're not just building our first 11. But that being said, I think us selling Xhaka and Partey, I don't know if that's wise.
Do you know what?
I don't know if it's wise. I think like I agree with what you said something before. Arsenal got to add. So I'm thinking if we get rid of in Xhaka, you're getting rid of 16 goals and assists this season.
Wow.
In Partey, fair enough, he was good for 3/4 of the season, but he had a crazy fall off. Yeah. And his injury record, we're always having to be on
worry.
We always have to be on standby. Okay, is he going to be fit? Is he not going to be fit? So I get that, but I'm just thinking if you saw these two guys, you definitely need more than Rice and Lavia coming into this.
Yeah, do you know? I think the Partey thing for me, and I could be wrong. And do you know what? With stuff I have to face about my club, I shouldn't say it. So let me be very clear when I say this. I know nothing about any of the allegations or anything around him. Yeah, I know nothing about it at all. Right. So I'm not here saying he should have the book thrown at him or anything. But if I am Arsenal Football Club, who earlier on I said I actually think like the one thing Arsenal have, even in your worst time, not got wrong is your PR. Yeah, your marketing and PR is on job. Right. They've managed to get through this season with the rumours and it hasn't really impacted them.
That's true.
But they could be looking at it and even just like us going, we don't know much, but just in case it could blow up in our face, do we just want to kind of avoid that just in case and just go, you know what? There's so many things in football that you wish you knew, but you don't know. Things that go on behind the doors, like with why players want to leave, and like with Bernardo for years, people have said, why doesn't he like City, this and that? And I said, you know what? The guy's like hitting a certain age. He hasn't got a kid yet. His missus is from Portugal, where he's from. Maybe they just want to go back to that part of the world and start a family. Like, has anyone ever thought that? And same with, you don't know that maybe Arteta felt that Partey as a senior player last season should have stood up a bit more and thinks, do you know what? Yeah.
He should have.
Yeah. And so maybe he looks at that and thinks, do you know what? If we can get some money for him now and then the board are going, well, you know what? There could be an absolute bomb with him as well. Maybe now is the time. I'm not saying it is that, but I do get why Arsenal might be thinking. Did you know the other thing you just said about the fact that you now see you're building a squad? The other thing why that should make you happy, yeah, is because when a team builds an 11 that someone goes, our best 11 could beat anyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's very short term. When you see that your team is starting to build a squad and replace the older players and bring younger players in, you know that there is a long-term objective, that this is now starting a cycle that you're going to keep doing. So you know that this is Arsenal now. When it's a transfer window, they're going to strengthen because they want to get back to where they were. And the truth be told, you don't just want to get back to where you were. Now that you've got the stadium, now that you've paid that off, Arsenal want to epitomise what you did before. They want to go further now. So I think that's where when you're looking at all the players you're being linked with, I think that's what you should take from it, that you do want to go again. Last year wasn't, and that's where Tottenham have gone wrong. Tottenham have never really built on anything. They just drop off. Whereas now I think drop you lot off, are. Yeah.
No, it's a good point you make about that. But I guess with that, like, I'm more thinking. I'm looking at the team now, and I can see that a good squad is being built there, which is good. But my thing is, yes, you made the Partey point you made. That's actually true. The allegations. I guess I've been.
And it is only allegations. Let me be so clear with that. I'm not.
I guess I've been so focused on, but it's a good point you make this. Maybe Arsenal may want to cut their losses. I was more thinking just on the pitch point of view. If I was Arteta, I 1000% would have been alarmed by you're a senior player, but your drop off in form was absolutely mad. Like we can't risk that next season. But it's just good to see. I'm more thinking now, it's like, wow, like maybe because what I'm hearing is that Arsenal apparently wanted to buy 2 midfielders, a centre back, and a forward, right? But it looks like I'm thinking it might just be that Havertz does he count as a midfield signing? Does he count as a forward? Because apparently we also want to sell. We're gonna let Balogun go. It looks like apparently Nketiah will be up. If good offers come for him, Arsenal will be willing to. Yeah. Apparently, I read it today. Apparently, if good offers come for Nketiah, will be willing to go. So it's interesting.
What about that Balogun? Are you not bringing him back, or is he?
We're gonna sell him. It looks like.
Okay.
He doesn't. I don't think he's not really. He made a lot of comments when he was away on international duty for USA. He goes, when he comes back, I'm definitely not going on loan again, blah, 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 blah.
He probably doesn't want to go there and be... I think he's
benchman.
Probably got to the point, where he
wants to be main man.
He wants to be star boy now. And if that means staying in a lesser league, maybe a lesser club, but being the star boy, I fully get that,
Which is, I get that.
Fine.
I mean,
yeah.
It's fine. I mean, you're coming off a great season in Ligue 1, but Ligue 1 is not Premier League. And as much as I hear lots of Arsenal fans saying, "Oh yeah, Balogun bad," but it's like, bro, like League 1 is not the French league is not the Premier League. Like it's not. You can go back 21 goals there, but like the truth is, here's where you got to give Nketiah some credit. But does Balogun come in at the point that Nketiah came in last season and perform as well as he did? I don't think so.
Do you know what? There's a lot of. I see that at City with our Premier League 1. So I think that's the under-21 team, which we've won it the last 3 years in a row. And then we've also won the under-18s last 3 in a row. And there's a lot of players that come up through the academy, and City fans are always saying they need to be given a chance. They need to be given a chance. They need to be given a chance. But it's kind of like I've spoke with some of my mates that go and watch them, and they're like, so there's this guy called Borges, a Portuguese guy, who's bagging goals for fun. But my mate's gone to see him and said, he couldn't work in the City team. Like there's levels. The jump up from under 21s to the Premier League is far bigger. That's why you do only get the absolute elite of that age group that can slowly be worked into a team. You can't just bag at under 21 level, then think you're going to go and bag in the Premier League. You really can't. Exactly. It's not that. It isn't
exactly. That. No, I fully agree. I think. Did you know Tom Huddleston plays for United under 21s?
What? Yeah, Tom Huddleston?
Yeah, really weird. Like I found out about the other day. He's like player coach or something. It's very weird. Like,
that is weird.
If you Googled him now, he'd be like, oh yeah, like he plays for United under 21s. It's very weird.
Damn.
Don't know how
they must run rings around him because the biggest thing with him was his fitness.
Yeah,
They
I
must
don't know.
be literally running
I
him.
legit don't know how. He must be in it for just the coach.
He can spray a ball.
Himself.
He could always spray a ball, but his fitness was atrocious.
Yeah, his mobility was a joke.
Yeah.
But it's looking rosy for Arsenal when it comes on the transfer front. And I think one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing as well is I want to see Emil Smith Rowe. You know, like I want to see what's going to happen with him. I want to see it because the guy, like a lot of people, what I like about what Arsenal are doing is that we're adding legs to our midfield because he's a guy that's legs in midfield. He runs with the ball, he carries it. Declan Rice, that's legs in midfield. He runs with the ball, he carries it. He offers us something different from this little technical tippy-tappy, ticky-tack. Like just get someone, take the ball and run.
Bernardo Silva was good at that. And do you know Smith Rowe as well? Have you seen how much he's shot up height-wise?
No.
Well, if you Google it, someone said it to me. I went and looked at it. You know, he's had an insane growth spurt. Like he's shot up massively. Do you know what? Right. So I get it with Smith Rowe and Arsenal fans because I'm the same with like we had Cole Palmer and we've got McAtee who's been out on loan at Sheffield United, and all I want is to see McAtee come back from loan and get a chance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because when I've seen him, he excites me. Like, and there is something special about, no matter what anyone says, there's something special about players that have come up through your academy, like with Foden and City. But with Smith Rowe, I think it's the same as anyone else could say to me, look, Cole Palmer and McAtee can't be good enough because you ain't starting them. And the same with Smith Rowe. I just think he needs to step up. But this is where it really matters. It's the pre-season because these are the players that have to
see what it's made of. But the thing is,
so they have to be the first ones back.
With all due respect, though, like I get it with Cole Palmer and whatnot, but like I'm not gonna lie, I don't think they can be compared to Smith. Like Smith Rowe, he's actually a good player. Like the guy is legit a baller.
But here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, but that's as an Arsenal fan. As a City fan, when we've seen these people come up through our academies and they are getting caps for England, that, you know, like, and Pep's only ever gone to someone's at City since he's been at City. He's only gone to two players' parents and mapped out what the career progression is. McAtee was one of them. He said to him, like, I don't want him to go out on loan. I want him to stay and be around De Bruyne, be around. But McAtee pushed for the loan move. So, but it's more, I'm not comparing them as far as saying they're better, saying they're as good as. What I'm saying is that as one of your, like, they've come through your academy, you have that place where you want them to do, like, you want them to do better, didn't you? But this is where, I'll be honest, McAtee got loaned out because he was part of the City team that did the tour last summer. Clearly, he didn't impress enough. And this is the key. Remember when Dele Alli, right, at Tottenham, one summer, so they bought him, they loaned him back out to MK Dons, and then he came back for the summer. And towards the end of the summer, Modric was injured. And I think, was it Modric that was injured? I think it was Modric just before he went to Real. But there was someone that was injured, which meant Dele Alli got a call up. And it was against a very big team. And he megged someone that was big and had an amazing game. So then he got started again, had an amazing game. And that's the key, that when you're one of these players, these pre-seasons are massive. You have to, like, show the gaffer, I am good and I do deserve to be as part of this team, and then run with it. Like, if that's where the managers are looking, come and impress me, because I've got a group of players at Arsenal right now, I've got a squad. But if you want to be part of the squad and part of my 11, you have to show me right now, pre-season, that you're on it. And I think fitness, like, for me, Calvin Phillips, if he does stay, he's got to be the first player back in the summer, like day one of the summer. He needs to be there, trim, ready to go, because the way he returned from the World Cup wasn't good enough, right? So if I'm Pep, I'm going, I'll give you one last chance, but you can't be turning up first day of pre-season going, I had a bit of a mad summer, I had a drink. Well, you've done it again. Your mentality is not right for this club. And I think that's the same with Smith Rowe. I've read a few things from Smith Rowe, how frustrated he was last season. I think he will get a run, but I think early doors, that's where you get the run. You can't give someone a run business end. It's early doors.
It's true. No.
But check out his height. Apparently, he's shot up massively.
I will. But it's looking rosy for us at the moment. You know, so hopefully, Havertz is pretty much done. Hopefully we can seal the deal with Timber, Lavia, and Rice. I'll take Lavia. I mean,
Lavia's a great signing, and we get 9 million out of that, I think, as well.
I'll take him. He's young. He's got the legs, and I like I guess it's just continuing on the average age type of thing we're doing as well.
Yeah.
One question before I get to I guess the spiritual aspect of this before I close out. Sammy's asked, do you guys need a left back for next season?
So
the way Cancelo as well.
No. I've never been a fan. Look, I was Zinchenko over Cancelo the whole time at City, you know, for me. I always was. Business end of the season, if you go and look at it, every business end of the season, Cancelo dropped off and Zinchenko would come in. Cancelo's been at 5 clubs in 5 years. He's fallen out with people at every single club. When you lot were being linked with him, I was like, there's no way Arteta is taking that man.
I was surprised by that.
No, there's no way. It was just paper talk because Arteta, like, I think if Arteta said to Pep, I'm thinking about Cancelo, I think Pep would say, have you learned nothing from me about team spirit mentality? Like, if you want him, no problem, but you learned nothing. So I don't think you lot would ever go in for him. Now, because the way we're playing now is we play with centre-backs that can also play out wide. And we've got Akanji can play on the left, Ake can play on the left, and I think Vardiol, who we're getting, could also play on the left. So we've got 3 left-sided centre-backs. So,
wait,
do you know what? Yeah, he can play on the left as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I just... Left-backs never worked with us, bro. We've tried, and it just... When it gets to a point of doing your best ever City team and left-backs, like, people say Gael Clichy, but I'm not... For me, I get it. He was good, but he was better at Arsenal, right?
Yeah, he's much better.
Kolarov, he was good, but he wasn't defensively that great. Then Mendy is Mendy, so we won't even speak on that. And I'm going back to like saying Terry Phelan when I was 5 years old, right? Because left backs in City is just this thing that never really. You think about it. Zinchenko for me and Cancelo or Delph even that one season Centurion season.
Delph was good.
And they're not left backs, so
Delph was good there. Delph was good, but yeah. So guys, as is always a staple on my streams, I like to weave in my faith and get parallels with football. So it's interesting. We can talk, Daps. We can talk about like assessing transfers and what our clubs need. And I find it mad that with football, that we're watching news, we're checking updates, like going on different sources. We're clear to analyze and sit down and figure out, okay, cool, this is what our clubs need. This is where we need to strengthen. This is what we need to do this, right? And I believe, so I learned from this that we as men, specifically, well, not women as well, but we as men who watch football, like we understand how to sit down, weigh up, okay, what needs need to be met, and figure out, okay, how can they be met? But the thing I've kind of find mad is that we're quicker to do this with football, but when it comes to ourselves and our own personal lives, we don't really do it. And I believe like a lot of men today know the things they want in life, but don't really actually sit down and assess, okay, cool, where am I actually at in my life? Right, like what are the things I need? What things would help me? What would help me grow? What would help me actually achieve the things I want to achieve in life? I don't really feel like we have that assessment the way we do for football. I wanted to ask you, like, what do you like? What's your mindset like when it comes to like assessing your own personal needs in life? Is this something that you take time to sit down and really reflect on? And
I'm one of the biggest reflectors you'll ever. I'm a thinker. I'm a very deep person. I'm very emotional. I've had counselling. I've had a life coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How long did you have a life coach for?
For probably about 6 months.
Oh wow.
He's got a book out as well. Really, really good. And all of it, I believe in all of it. The hardest thing is putting it into practice. And to be honest with you, a life coach is something that I would probably recommend having again. I probably would like to have again when I'm in a better place, because I probably had a life coach when actually I just needed to go through what I was going through and go through the motions. It wasn't because a life coach can really make you hit goals, whereas at the point I was more in survival mode. So there's a difference. I think as men, we can look at where we want to be, we can map it out, but I honestly believe that a lot of men, we have this survival mode, and that is that's our go-to. Our go-to is survival mode, and we can have all the plans in the world, but if someone we care for or love, or ourselves, are under any sort of threat, we go into survival mode, and we do
Yeah.
anything by any means, and we take on pressure, and we do whatever we want, and we say pile it all on us, yeah, no problem. And then the minute you start piling things on top of you, if your house is a mess, then you're stressed. If your brain is, and I've found this over the last couple of months, to-do lists, like you sit there, simple to-do lists, you do two, you can have a to-do list of 50 things. If you tick 2 of them off, you feel more free.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And it's like a tidy house and a tidy brain. You have to just get things, and the more you can do that, the happier you become, the less you become reliant on things you shouldn't become reliant on, and then you can get to the optimal. I always say this is, if I go back to the best me was before COVID. I was going gym once a day minimum, sometimes twice, eating pretty much fish and salad, rice.
Nice.
I was getting a good amount of sleep. I was drinking maybe once, twice a month at best, if it was a day out with my wife at the time, all my friends. And I was drinking plenty of water, and there's all these things you have to think about. Your car runs at its best when it's clean, and it's the brake pads are done. And it's the same with us, and it's the same not just with and the one thing I'll say to anyone as well is everyone is fine going gym, right? Everyone is perfectly fine going gym and looking after their physical health, but not enough people look after their mental health, right? And the mental health is far more important than your physical health. Like your mental health is, and no one laughs at people going gym, so no one should ever laugh at people that pay attention to their mental health, because mental health is everything. It's everything.
No, I'm with you. It's funny because my wife recently, she's actually quit her job because this is something she's passionate about. She's going to be bringing out like men's grooming products, but basically it's all tailored to like taking care of yourself inside and taking care of yourself outside. And I think
that's true as well. Get a trim. How good do you feel?
Yeah, but the thing is you feel good, but it's more like I agree with what you said. It's like change is inward then outward, but it's never like outward then inward. You never focus on the external and cosmetic first. You got to figure out, deal with what's going on in here and in here as well. Because it's like I was listening to something the other day about like how basically when issues in life happen, what usually tends to happen with people is what they do is, because this specific thing has happened, I will automatically now avoid situations where this type of thing happen.
Yeah.
Instead of actually fixing, okay, what's going on in me internally that I can't be able to handle or deal with this issue that's going on in front of me. And it actually reminds me of obviously I'm being a Christian. It reminds me a lot of a scripture in the Bible where I think it's in Matthew chapter 7, where Jesus basically he talks about two men basically building a house. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 to 27, he talks about one man who built his house on sand and another man who built his house on a rock. Obviously, Jesus is referencing himself as the rock and his commands as the rock. Basically, he's saying that his way and his guidance, his commands are the best way to live life, right? And he gives you. So in this account in Matthew 7, you literally got two men given the same resources who are able to build a house. Both are building something, right? And both are subject to storms in life. And one storm happens to the guy whose house is built on sand. What happens? The house gets battered because it's got no foundation. Whereas the other one, the storms still come, even though the foundation's been built. But what happens is that because there's a strong foundation, that house is able to withstand.
Yeah, 100%. That's true.
And I feel like that's a lot of people today. And when I see a lot of people, I can speak for myself. That's who I was like 5 years ago. And this is the thing where I love talking football and I love talking faith, because as much as great as football is a powerful tool to help men think and reflect on. Like I got asked by BBC, like I got reached out to by BBC, and they were asking me, okay, cool, like what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy about football? I said, honestly, football for me, what I love about it is that it's a massive engine of social mobility.
Yeah.
But most importantly, it helps men visualize lessons that they should be taught, but they don't really get. Lessons on persevering when your team is doing awful. Lessons on believing when you see no reason to believe. And I feel like we get this from a football point of view, but like once football's done, you still have to live your life.
Yeah. Do you know who 100% preaches that? Pep Guardiola. 100%. He always speaks about how people are as, like, more importantly, how someone is as a person. That football is far more. Look, for me personally, football saved my life last year. 100%. It's football will forever remind me of my dad. It's our release as men. I honestly believe football is our release.
Facts. It is.
It's that time where, and that's where sometimes I can get frustrated when people start talking about things that when I was a kid, that was never what I didn't know about any club ever being taken to court or any of that. All I cared about was the football on the pitch. And so I understand, and I'm not saying you shouldn't talk on it, but to me, I'm like, but I don't run Manchester City. And that's why maybe on Big Six Extra one time where someone said, I have to be accountable. It's like, hold on a second.
You're a fan.
I'm a fan. Like, I'm a fan that, like, look behind me. I'm a fan that went through hell for this club. I love this club, right? There's no way I should ever have to be accountable for this club because I support this club. If this club goes to the third tier, I'm there. Winning is secondary to it being my release, my reminder of my dad and where I see my friends. Like, winning is secondary to that. But yeah, what you said there, the other thing I was going to say is, you know, like you said, when men come across a challenge, they kind of try and avoid it in future.
Mm-hmm.
But when my daughter first started riding her bike and she fell off, and she's like, I don't want to go on it no more. The first thing I do is no.
Exactly.
Because if you don't, you'll never go on it again.
Exactly.
Get on and just, why did you fall off? Oh, because I think I did this. Okay, so get on again and don't do that. Oh, I'm fine, I'll ride it again. And it's exactly the same thing. It's just, as adults, unfortunately, and this goes back to where I started, that a child's brain is innocent and beautiful and it hasn't been influenced in any way. Our brains are different. Our brains are a mess. They're hard drives that's working at maximum capacity, and we still try and pile more on it. And when we pile more on it, our brains stop working. And that's where I've truly found that the more I take off, the better I feel, the happier I feel
100.
as a person. So
100. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I think just to close out the night is like, I fully agree with you in terms of like the analogy you gave of your daughter, because it's like, if we're not, and this is why it's so important, like, yeah, you can assess what your team needs from a transfer point of view, but I think a better exercise I'd really just like love to issue to anyone who's listening and who's going to watch is like, in this time where you're assessing what your team needs transfer-wise, you should also just sit down and really have time to reflect, okay, where am I? What do I need? What circumstances in life am I avoiding? Because I know for me, there's several things that would annoy me, would make me feel agitated and uncomfortable. And like what you said, as a man, it's just survival mode. Just stuff it down, keep it moving. But it's like, no, you don't. If you stuff something, that means it's inside of you.
Yeah.
I'd rather, like, I think now we got to get to the point where we're building our minds, building our hearts, building the way we see life in a way where we're able to at least, go through what we need to go through, experience discomfort, and then at least release it, as opposed to
you have to. Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you won't heal. You have to go through everything. Yeah.
So I thought like it was worth just speaking on that, man. But I really appreciate your 2 pence. I appreciate you coming on here as well. Thanks for dropping some knowledge on.
No, it's good. We'll catch up more through the summer as well. 100%.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. And guys, for those who are watching, thanks for joining in. Thanks, Sammy, Jasha, Kai, for your comments. Blue Chand, 123 goal. Taib, Fortis, Guna, Memphis Depay. Thank you for your comment.
Memphis is in there, yeah. Memphis is everywhere.
Wise Toad streaming from NY. Thank you. Clearly, you ain't got the memory that we're twins. Thank you, Mohammed Sahal. Jacobs, Kevlark, Garrett, Stu. Thank you to Andrew Green as well. Check out this comment. He said Daps and the B-Tech Tobes. I'll have you know, I was the first twin. This is not B-Tech, bro.
Do you know what? I get that energy off of you, you know.
The name tapping Tobes, it came because of our creation, tapping. These men don't know. Just wait and see. Wait and see. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe to both of our channels. Obviously, you've got Daps's handles, Never a Foul, MCFC Daps. You've got my Instagram, Tosin_24. Obviously, this is being broadcast on Fleet Footed. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subs.
You're close. You're close.
Help me get to that, and just help me get some traction this summer. Anyways, guys, take care. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you all again next week.